Valérie, on va pouvoir y aller, donc je vous laisse la parole.
Okay, hello. As Attaché for University Cooperation, I'm very pleased to greet you online today for this Franco-German event, which is organized since 2014 by the Association Bernard Grégory in cooperation with the Franco-German University, the Service for Science and Technology, and the University Cooperation Office of the French Embassy in Germany and the Espace Campus France in Germany. We are all aware that unfortunately the face-to-face meeting was problematic this year, so I am all the more happy to welcome you digitally. I would like to emphasize that for the very first time this event is organized as a webinar, and I know that you are numerous online. We had more than 200 registrations for each discussion, so welcome and thanks to you all. I would also like to thank very heartily the speakers for accepting our invitation and for their readiness to testify and answer your questions about career perspectives and professional networking after graduation. Germany was the first origin country of Erasmus students in France in 2018 with around 6,000 students. And France is the second host country for German Erasmus students. Mobility and cooperation in the fields of higher education and research is, of course, very important to us. I am glad that we all had the opportunity today to discuss these issues in a Franco-German context, and I wish you a fruitful afternoon. I shall now give the word to Ms. Ken, who will introduce the speakers.
Thank you very much, Valerie, for this great welcoming words. So the purpose of this session is to present you some funding schemes to encourage you to go abroad and to do this mobility between France and Germany. And the first organization we are happy to welcome for this session is the French-German University, represented today by Eva Maria Engsbach. So Eva Maria, the floor is yours. You have to unmute your mic before you speak.
Voilà. Well, good afternoon, everybody. At first, I like to introduce myself. My name is Eva Maria Hengsbach, and I work for the Franco-German University in Saarbrücken in the department Study Programs and Doctoral Programs. And I'm responsible for the doctoral programs. Today, I'll be talking about these funding instruments. But at the beginning, I'd like to explain the function of the FGU. Well, the FGU is a network of affiliated member universities from France and Germany, and its administration is based in Saarbrücken. It was founded as an international institution over 20 years ago, and it provides expert guidance on Franco-German university relations with the aim of enhancing university and research cooperation between the two countries. At first, I would like to explain the program Co-Tutelle de Thèse. What does this mean? Well, a Franco-German co-tutelle allows doctoral students to write their dissertation under the supervision of at least one professor in Germany and another in France. And in the end, doctoral students are awarded a doctoral degree from both institutions after passing the joint defense. It is important to know that the doctoral student hasn't got two titles in the end, so he isn't a doctor, but he has the degree from both universities in Germany and in France. Now then, I would like to explain the funding procedure at the FGU for a co-tutelle candidate. Well, as soon as the co-tutelle de thèse agreement, which is the legal basis of the co-tutelle and often the hardest and biggest step to take, As soon as it's signed by both institutions, it has to be handed in. And the last signature of the agreement must not be older than a year. Application papers and abstracts have to be written in French and Germany, but English is permitted in exceptional cases, for example, for the science. If the proposal is positive, the doctorate student receive 4,000 euro for 3 years. So it is a mobility grant and not a complete scholarship. The FGU pays the funding in 2 payments. The first at the beginning of the funding, and the second when the date for the joint defense is fixed. Normally is 3 years after the beginning of the co-tutelle. 1,000 euros are reserved at the FGU to cover the cost for the joint defense. For example, to pay the travel and hotel costs for the jury. And the FGU reimbursed the cost for the defense on valid documentation. It is important for the doctorate student that he keeps us posted about any delays concerning his dissertation. Now I would like you to give some facts and figures about the number of new projects funded every year at the FGU since 2008. As you can see on the screen, we funded 46 co-tutelle last year. This year it will be certainly a bit less because of the corona crisis. On this slide, we can see the distribution per discipline of the new projects the last year. As you can see, most of the co-tutelle were in the field of humanities and in the field of science. Now I would like to continue with our Franco-German graduate schools. In order to promote cooperation in the field of Franco-German research, the FGU supports graduate schools in all academic disciplines. It's possible to associate also a third country. The funding primarily supports the research activities and travel opportunities of doctorate students. And we need the memorandum of understanding in the middle of July until the 15th of July. And the application deadline is at the end of October. And it's every year. Who is entitled to submit an application? French and all German professors affiliated to universities in France and Germany, offering a structural doctoral program. And the funding period is 4 years, but it's always possible to submit an application to renewal. You can see on the slide the amount of funding, which is composed of funds of infrastructure, for example, to pay the travel costs for professors, funds for establishing a network, and grants to cover travel expenses for the doctorate students, and also international scholarships for proposals which have been evaluated excellent. The FGU supports also PhD programs, combining the 2 years of the master's program with a further 3 years spent on a doctoral degree to form a 5-year study period in total. And the funding conditions are more or less the same as for the doctoral graduate schools. If you have any question, you can ask me now, or you can contact me by mail. Or you can call me at any time. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Eva Maria. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that if you have any questions during the session, when you have any questions coming to your mind during the presentation of the different speakers, so do not hesitate to type your question in the Q&A tab you have at the bottom of your screen, and we will have, after all speakers presented their slides, a specific question and answer time so we can answer your question. So do not worry, type your question, And please keep in mind that your question should be short but precise. Otherwise, it will be complicated for us to transmit your questions to our speakers. So thank you very much, Eva Maria. And now, after the presentation of the French-German University, I'm giving the floor to Drg Ad, which is a major institution for the French-German mobility. So Mrs. Bicomo, share your and unmute your mic.
Okay. Then share Thailand. Okay. Can you hear me?
We can, but you didn't share your screen.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to do it, but it doesn't want to work. Okay, let me try again. Sorry. Okay. On Windows. Okay. Now I get it. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Mrs. Bicomo from the DAD France, and I'm responsible for the research funding program of the DAD France here in Paris. Thank you for the invitation. As we don't have a lot of time, I'm just going to go a little bit fast. So for those of you who might not know who the DAD is, the DAD is a registered association made up of German university, of institution of higher education and student bodies. The DAD is the world's largest funding association dedicated to promoting international exchange in higher education. As you can see, the DAD is quite well represented around the globe with his branch offices and information center, as well as lecturerships and so on. The head office is located in Bonn, and we are also represented in Berlin with one office. The DAD is financed through public funding bodies. The biggest part comes from the Federal Foreign Office, as you can see, followed by the Ministry of Education and Research. Since its creation, you can see that the DAD has already enabled over more than 1.5 million people from Germany to discover the world, and over 1 million people from abroad were able to come and discover the German academic spheres with the help of the DAD. So, which are the research grant of the DAD that might be of interest for you? So here you have a short list. I'm going to skip very quickly to start the presentation of this research grant. So the first grant I want to present today is the research grant, the so-called 1 year and short-term grant. The primary aim of this program is to promote research projects within the context of doctoral program. With this program, the DAD finances research projects at a university in Germany, which has to be carried out in coordination with an academic supervisor. Doctoral candidates and young academics who have completed a master's degree or diploma, or those who have already completed a PhD can apply. The little difference here is the postdoc can only apply for the short-term grant. The monthly payment depends on the academic level of the fellow, so it varies between 860 euro and 1,200 euro for doctoral candidate and postdocs. For the people who will be receiving 860 euro are people who are not enrolled in a PhD studies yet. So more details, if you need more details, you can contact me about that. The deadline of the 1 year grant will be February 1st, and the short-term grant deadline will be February and September 15. So the next deadline, September 15, you can still apply. The next research grant I want to present is the binationally supervised doctoral degree, or the doctoral degree in so-called co-tutel procedure or co-tutel system. Thank you for Mrs. Hensbach, because you already explain what is the co-tutor system PhD. So it's kind of makes things easy for me. So the aim of this program is the funding of a binational doctoral project, which are carried out at the university in France and Germany. And we have here two types of project we are funding. We are funding research stays in Germany as a part of a doctoral program in France, which is co-supervised and carried out binationally on the basis of an agreement with a single professor at a German university. On the contrary, we have the second option is research stays in Germany as part of doctoral studies supervised and carried out in the called co-tutel procedure. So all applicants who are enrolled in binational doctoral supervised studies can apply, as well as all applicants who are enrolled in the co-tutel system studies. So the grant is available for up to 2 years. And please refer to the call for application for more details. And the deadline in France will be February 1st of next year, because the year has already passed. The value of the grant will be €1,200 plus travel allowance and additional allowance, which might be offered to you. So the next program I'm going to present you is the PRIME program. The PRIME program was initiated by the DAD to support the international mobility of postdoctoral researchers. So PRIME is therefore for postdoctoral researchers of all nationalities who see their long-term career perspectives in Germany. The PRIME program enables postdocs to combine employment at German university with a research stay outside of Germany. All postdoctoral candidates from all disciplines can apply to the program. The support is provided for 18 months, as you can see, of which the first month are spent abroad and the remaining 6 months are for the return phase in Germany. The value of the grant, it will be a temporary 18-month employment contract with a German university, but it will be financed by the DAD. The deadline of the grant will be of the program will be August next month, so end of August next month. So if you are interested in the program, you can still apply for it. The next program is the DLR DAD Research Fellowship. The DLR DAD Fellowship is a program implemented by the German Aerospace Center DLR and the DAD. The fellowship offers outstanding scientists and researchers the opportunity to conduct special research at the Institute of the DLR in Germany. So please note that within this program, you cannot apply for a university or another institution, only for a DLR institute. This is very, very important for you to know. All doctoral and postdoctoral students, as well as senior scientists too, from the field of aeronautics, space, transportation, and energy can apply for the program. The duration varies of the status of the fellow. So 36 months for doctoral students, 6 to 24 months for postdoctoral students, and 1 to 3 months for senior scientists. I have to state here that I didn't prepare to present the research grant for senior scientists, as this is not a topic today. So if you have senior scientists in the audience who want to know more about the program you are offering to senior scientists, please feel free to contact me afterward. So the next program I'm going to present is the Franco-German Partner Hypercurrent program. The aim of this program is to encourage and support the scientific and technological exchange between research groups of the two countries, so France and Germany. All research labs of all disciplines can apply for funding. Travel expenses will be covered, as well as living allowances with a certain amount. Unfortunately, the deadline had just passed, but the next deadline will probably be June next year. And here I have you have a quick overview of all organizations with funding program for doctoral candidates and postdocs who are planning a stay in Germany. So just visit their homepage for more information. Last but not least, I'm going to speak about the Big Four. As you know, the German research landscape is characterized by these four non-university research associations. They have a large range of funding schemes which might be interesting for you. So I recommend you to visit their homepage to find out which funding scheme might fit your needs. So now we will be switching to the part for German candidates who want to come to France. The first research grant here is the basic research grant, 1-year grant or short-term grant. And the program promotes research stays in France during doctoral studies in Germany. It's a little bit different from the research grant for French candidates who want to go to Germany. So here we also have, it's only addressing people who are enrolled in a PhD studies. So all PhD students at German university can apply. The stay abroad can last from 1 to 12 months with the possibility to apply multiple times during the PhD. The monthly installment will be €1,500 as well as additional allowances during the funding. There are 2 deadlines for this program. The next deadline will be end of next month. So you still have time to apply, and the other deadline will be March of next year. The next program I'm going to present is the International Research Stays for Computer Scientists for doctoral students, the so-called IFE program. The IFE program aims at supporting research stays of highly qualified young German researchers in the field of artificial intelligence, as well as computer sciences and in related fields at hot institutions in France. So applications are open to doctoral candidates with excellent qualification in the relevant fields who want to pursue their doctorate at German university or non-university research institution. The research stays can be funded between 1 to 6 months and are renewable under certain conditions. From people who want to come to France, the value will be still €1,500 plus additional allowances. And there is no fixed deadline for this program. Applications are possible at any time, but should be at least 3 months before the desired start of funding. So, however, I personally recommend you to not apply exactly 3 months before. Plan a little bit more time. That will be better for you to plan your stay here. The next program is Prime, but as I already talked about Prime, I'm going to skip that part. Before I do so, I just have to state that Prime was designed at first only for German candidates and has been open to candidates from abroad who wish to have a scientist career in Germany or at a German university. So not only you foreign as people from France can apply for that, also German candidate can apply to the program. So only for you to know that the program is also open for you. The next program will be the Research Fellowship for young researchers holding a doctorate, the so-called short-term fellowship. The aim of the program is to carry out a research project abroad and achieve an important qualification step for the later career in science, business, or cultural sector. Applications are open to candidates with excellent qualification who have completed their doctorate with very good results. That is very important. The duration of the grant can last from 3 to 6 months and is non-renewable. The fellow will receive a monthly installment of €1,750, just as all postdoc. A monthly expatriation allowance will be added to it and additional allowances, of course. For this program, we have 3 deadlines. The first deadline will be in November, the second in March, and the third in June. So the next program will be the DAD Mss Research Grant, which is in cooperation with the Maison des Sciences de l'Homme Foundation, MSH. The DAD awards scholarship for research stays in the humanities and social sciences. The program is designed for qualified young German scientists to pursue a project of their own choice at one of the research group at MSH itself, but also for research stay at other research institutions in France. This is also possible. The funding can last between 1 to 6 months, and the scholarship include a monthly scholarship installment of €1,750 for a postdoc. In addition, expatriation allowance, which is paid depending on the place of residence and which increases when the fellow is accompanied by the family. So the next deadline will be next year on February, 1st of February. The last program I'm going to present is the Bilateral Exchange. The Bilateral Exchange of academics to improve international relations and bilateral research cooperation between German and foreign universities. The DAD promotes the mutual exchange of scientists from partner countries. With this program, research stays at university or research institute from France to Germany and Germany to France can be supported. All junior researchers and postdoc working at university or research institute in Germany can apply for the program. As I just said before, the program promotes the mutual exchange scientists, so funding is therefore only available if a scientist from France also applies for research stay in Germany at the same time. So just be careful about that point. The value of the scholarship is not is very basic. The fellow will be receiving the travel allowance from the DAD, and the academic accommodations fee will be covered by the host institution. The funding can be provided for a period between 2 weeks and 3 months. And also here, applications are possible at any time, but must be submitted to the DAD at least 3 months before the planned days. So here, if you need more information, I have a few, we have a brochure funding your research in Germany, or the website of www.researchingermany.org. Or if you want to know more about the scholarship from France to Germany, just feel free to go to the scholarship database. And or for people from Germany who want to come to France, so scholarship database are available for you too. And here are the information sources you have to find more about grant and jobs in Germany. So thank you for your attention. Yes.
Thank you very much, Janik. Once again, I want to focus on the fact that we know that 1 hour is quite short to present everything on, especially on funding schemes for mobility after your PhD. So basically, that's a basic information we want to give you. So do not hesitate to connect with the speakers after the session to get more information into details. And for those asking the questions, slides will be available on the website and on YouTube, because we are currently live streamed. And of course, we can send the slides to you if you ask them to us. So do not worry, you will get this information after the session. So it will be my turn now to present what ABG can do in a different way, because we are not funding actually mobility, but we are supporting the career development of researchers. And I'm going now to share my screen. Just a few seconds, please. So normally you
We don't hire. Oh, I'm going to.
sorry, just a few seconds, and I'm sharing my screen now. Okay. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to present you what ABG can do for you for career development. As I said, we are an association, so basically we are not funding your mobility during your PhD or after, but we are supporting this your career development. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you some information regarding a very specific funding scheme funded by the European Commission, which is called Marie Sklodowska-Curie Actions Individual Fellowships, something you should know because it is very interesting and attractive for you young researchers. So I'm going to present you what we do at ABG. So as I said, ABG stands for Association Bernard Grégory, which is a non-profit organization specialized in the career development and recruitment of PhDs. So we have two major activities. I would say one is about recruiting and recruiting PhDs. So we help employers in academia and outside to recruit. And the second major is about so I'm going to present you both right now. And I'm starting first with our website, which is quite a link you should know once you decide your way after your PhD. So our website is divided into different categories, and I'm starting now with this recruitment part, as I said. We are here to help employers, academic employers, so universities, research institutions, but also non-academic organizations like companies, but also foundations, for instance, to recruit PhDs or at least people with for positions, which of course most of the time we find postdoc positions in France and abroad, also such positions in companies, but not only, because as you are going to see, for people who will be attending the study session, we can do many things. And of course, on our website, we try to promote opportunities for PhDs in companies outside of research too. So basically, and you can also, as a candidate, upload the perspective parts of our website. And in this part, you will find many articles and interviews of PhD holders having left academia, for instance, and explaining how they did this transition from academia to industry. But you will find also interviews of recruiters explaining why and how they recruit PhDs for which positions, for instance. So you can have basically a better understanding of the job market outside of academia for PhDs. And of course, as we are here to support your career development, we are also writing some articles on career advice, I would say, with very practical advice on how, for instance, think of your career planning or how you can market your research experience and skill and so on. So everything you can find here in this major part of the website is the news. In this part, you can find all the information related to career development of PhDs, research, development, innovation. All the events and especially career fairs will be advertised on our website. And of course, if you are searching for a funding scheme to fund your mobility or to fund a research project, for instance, we are also advertising such calls. You can find there on this website. So very specific information you can find on the website of ABG. As I say, ABG is really specialist in the recruitment and career development of PhDs. Everything we are advertising here on the website are related to PhD anyway. Something which is maybe more related to the topic of today, our mobility guide. So on the website of ABG, you can find this international mobility guide organized by countries. So basically, you can select the country in which you want to do an experience. So you want to go, for instance, to Brazil, or you want to go to the US. So you click on the flag, and then you get all the information related or associated with the country. And this you will find all sorts of schemes. They are not necessarily updated because most of the time the calls are quite regular. So even if it's not updated, have a look at the organization we are talking about, because they may have a more current call at the moment. So as I said, you will find information on funding schemes, but also very interesting thing for you, testimonials of PhD holders, of PhD candidates, having done this mobility to the country you are targeting, because having the experience of your peers, for instance, can help you design and prepare your mobility the best way. We organized 3 years ago a very specific event on European mobility, and all the talks by speakers are available now on the website in English. You will find presentations of speakers from academia in different European countries, speakers from industry in different countries, also in Europe. So basically major resources you can use just to know more about the European job market after your PhD. Very important thing to know about ABG, also related to mobility or career development, are the social media. We are quite active on them. And once again, here we are using the social media to promote any kind of information related to your career development of mobility projects. So do not hesitate to follow us just to be informed or to keep updated you have on the website. I said earlier that we have two major activities. One of them is a training part. So here you have an overview of and do for PhD candidates and PhD holders on different topics. So what we call training sessions at ABG are all the session activities we do to help you find your way. It's not scientific training, of course, but much more career development workshop, for instance, during which we will help you define what you really want to do after your PhD, because that's a major point. Maybe some of you are not necessarily clear with what they want to do after their PhD. So that's why we are here to help you define this way, and not only defining the career plan, but also implementing it. So basically to work on how you can explore the job market, how you can develop your network, or you can prepare for job interviews, for instance. And regarding this specific topic, I would like you to inform you that we have at the moment a call which is still open until next week for cross-border workshop for PhD candidates from France, Germany, but also from different countries. If you're interested in working in France or Germany, for instance, that's a cross-border workshop we are organizing in Luxembourg in November. So do not hesitate to send your applications if you're interested. As I said, we are going to work during 3 days, intensive days, on career planning, international mobility, networking, and marketing research experience and skills. And we are using this opportunity also to connect you with people from industry, because the purpose of this workshop, as I said, is really to help you do this transition from academia to industry. Because, as you know, not so many permanent positions in academia. So maybe it can be interesting for you to think of another plan beyond this academic career. Just to finish moving the funding scheme, which can be very useful for you when you will decide to send some applications or prepare your CV or any kinds of applications. If you want to work on your skills, it's not so easy to identify the skills you have or to put a name on what you can do. It's quite easy to say, oh, I know I can do that and that, but putting the right word in terms of skills, which is associated with the activity you have done, is not so easy. So that's why we developed with academic and industrial partners a website which is very specific for skills developed by researchers, by PhDs. So do not hesitate to have a look just to know which skills are really specific for PhDs. And as I said, there were two parts in my presentation. The first part I just finished was about the presentation of ABG and how we can support your career development by providing you information and tips, advice, and workshops. And the last part, it's related to the funding schemes called Mss Career Actions Fellowships, which is a funding scheme funded by the European Commission. So it's quite interesting because you can see here the salary, the living allowance is quite attractive for young researchers, plus family allowance and mobility allowance. If you, for instance, come with a family, you have bonus for that. Something which is funding schemes, you can't avoid, that's the mobility rules. So basically, you can't have spent more than 12 months within the past 3 years in the country you are targeting. Let's say you are interested in doing a mobility in France because you are, for instance, in Germany, you want to move to France in this funding scheme. You can't have spent more than 12 months in France within the 3 years. So it's something different if you decide, for instance, to do this individual fellowship in a company, because it's something which you should keep in mind, is that you can be hosted by an academic institution, quite classically, so basically university, research institute. In this case, you are to abide by the mobility rule, classical mobility rule, but you can also decide to do this postdoc mobility in a non-academic organization. So of course, a company, which is maybe the most obvious non-academic organization we are thinking of, but not only. So basically, museums, associations, international organizations are also eligible for this funding scheme. And in this case, the mobility rule is slightly different. So basically, you can't have spent more than 36 months, so basically more than 3 years within in the 5 past years in the country you're targeting. So it's very interesting in this sense, because if you are deciding to leave, for instance, academia for industry, these funding schemes can be very interesting to do or to facilitate this transition, because the salary, your salary, is fully funded by the European Commission. So it means the company who is hosting you doesn't pay anything. So it can be very an argument, I would say, a very good asset for you to promote your application if you decide to submit a proposal within this funding scheme. Before submitting a proposal, you need to have identified first your host institution, because you need to explain in your proposal why it's really important for you to go there, how this institution is a great place for you to do your research, because you need to explain the quality of the scientific team you are going to work with or in, and also the quality of the institution, everything the institution can provide you for your research project. So that's why you can't submit a proposal by yourself. You need to do it with your hosting institution, whether academic institute or non-academic organization, as you wish. Something also that the last information I want to share with you regarding this fellowship is that you can decide to do your mobility within Europe, but you can also decide to go outside of Europe. And quite interesting in this funding scheme is that if you decide to go for this global fellowship, so basically outside of Europe, you have 1 year funded to come back to Europe. And this returning phase is not necessarily easy for researchers when they are going abroad outside of Europe without these funding schemes, because the return is not so easy to implement. So in this case, you have for sure 1 year funded as a return to Europe. So do not hesitate if you are interested in this kind of funding scheme to apply. And just to finish, before giving the floor to the last speaker, is the success rate. In terms of success, if you apply that the success rate of 2019, candidates applying for a fellowship in academic institutions, the success rate was about 13%. And candidates who applied for a fellowship outside of academia, so non-academic organizations, the success rate was 27%. So you see, if you decide to apply and to submit a proposal with a non-academic organization, basically
It appears that we have technical problems, so we'll wait for Mrs. Camp, and perhaps I should give the word to Dario Müller instead. Please, Mr. Müller, if you could now have the word and explain us what you're doing.
With great pleasure. Thank you very much, Ms. Lemarquand. I really hope that Berenice will be back just shortly. So I'll be sharing my screen with you. Just give me a second. Perfect. So welcome everybody to this really great event. Unfortunately, it's a shame that it's not live, but still I think it's great that we're doing it in form of a webinar. My name is Dario Müller, and I would like to talk to you about the France Alumni Germany network. And I'll be just talking real quick about my role. So what is the France Alumni Germany network? It was launched in 2014 by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of France. And the idea was to create a network, an online platform, including a job portal, where also there will be including lectureships, which I believe it's very interesting for young researchers to be able to teach as much as possible. And the reason why we have done that is to keep your connection to France and promote studying and research in France to international students. And this is for everybody who is outside of France and has visited the higher education system of France. So according to the exact specification is that the suivi régulier des ressortissants étrangers, so all of them that have actually visited the French education system. So a little bit about our numbers. We are in total 324,292 members as of today. So we're very proud of that number. We have 1,681 Twitter followers. There is one international website, and we also have 124 country websites, and in total of 34 languages. So for those of you who have seen that one member asked about Africa, this is a fantastic way of taking a look at that. We have over 3,500 partners with 1,500 companies. So we are also here to, especially when you finish your PhD or you are in a PhD and you would like to make a research project with a company, France Alumni is there to connect you with that company. And as you all know, the first connection, the first impression you make might also land you a job in the long term, whether it be at a company or it be at a university through a lectureship that you will be able to find at our platform in the future, specifically on francealumni.de. So the platform itself is francealumni.de for Germany. This is our website that pretty much includes all of the specific events that are Franco-German. Of course, we're open to everybody and to everybody who is inside of Germany. So it's independent from the nationality. What I'd like to invite you in is, of course, to become a member of the France Alumni network. So you can sign up right here when you visit our website, francealumni.de. You can click up here to s'inscrire. It is a mixture of French and German, which shows the love between both countries. But in any case, you will be sure to receive the latest information, also specifically for whether it be lectureships or job offers, and also event offers that we do, so that you can network within the network of France Alumni Germany, and of course also with the companies that we are connected to, and also the higher education institutions we're connected to in Germany and of course in France. Now, just a little bit about me. I'm Dario Müller. I'm born in 1987 in Lübeck in Germany. I'm half Peruvian, half German. My academic path is currently second-year PhD candidate at Aix-Marseille Graduate School of Management, IAE. I'm on the topic of sustainable luxury and e-commerce, and I have a Master of Arts in Fashion Management from Aix-Marseille University. And it would be a great pleasure and a great delight if you have any questions. You're very welcome to write me directly to my email address, as you can see here, or also to the general mailbox that is among others, also observed by the Campus France Germany team. And here I just would like to share with you that as ambassador, it is my role to be there for all of you, for all of the France Alumni in Germany. And since I know myself, I'm also in the research field inside. I know the problems and the issues we're all facing as doing our PhD. And I have to say, I'm very lucky to do my PhD at Aix-Marseille University. It's a very good example for the great universities France has. And I'm really feel very, very lucky that I'm part of this. We actually just launched our social networks. So LinkedIn and Instagram accounts have been just opened today. I invite you cordially to join them, to be updated and to increase your network. And again, be more than delighted to hear from you, whatever questions you might have. I'm here for you. And I wish you much success, especially on your research. Have fun getting your PhD in France, which is something that I believe was a great gift. The greatest gift that I could receive is this fantastic education that you get in this beautiful country. And thank you very much for your time. And yeah, I'll be happy to, how do you say? I'll be very happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you and merci.
So thank you very much, Dario, for your presentation. Now it will be, as I said, the turn for questions. So I'm going to ask the speakers to switch on the cam, so it's easier and better for attendees to see your face, I would say. Thank you very much. And I will give the floor then to my colleagues in Berlin for the question time, because during the sessions you could ask some questions. So Lisa, you are the one summarizing the question and asking the question to the speaker. So go ahead.
Thank you, Berenice, and hello from Berlin. So we got several questions. I think we will start with the one concerning the first presentation. So we got two questions. The first one is the Franco-German program is also addressing postdoc and not only PhD. And the second question is on how PhD are assessed, how like the grades the students can get, as the system can be different between France and Germany. Which one is applying for the student in doing a Franco-German PhD?
Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat the first question?
Yeah, the first question is there also like opportunity for postdoc, or is the presentations only for
we have
PhD students?
Unfortunately, we have nothing for postdocs. Our programs are only for doctoral students. And the second, I think it's a big question. Yeah, I think you have to address, the doctoral students have to address to their universities, but I think it doesn't concern our funding programs. Would you repeat the last?
So the second questions were like on the program when there is the Franco-German PhD, how the students are assessed with the, like if they are German, are they going to have a grade that is on the German way of grading the students, or on the French system, as it can be different between?
Yeah. But when they do a co-tutel d'été, they have both degrees, a doctoral award from the French university and a doctoral award from the German university. And if they are enrolled in a collège doctoral, donc in a Franco-German graduate school, they have neither the French degree, neither the German degree, but they could also do a co-tutel d'été. That depends. But it's more a question for the French or German university. We accept, we don't award, we don't give a diploma at the end. It's not the FGU who gives the diploma. It's the French or the German university. I hope it will answer this question.
Okay, thank you. So the second questions is more for concerning the DAAD programs and especially the DAAD Prime program. The question is it possible to begin this program after a postdoctoral contract, or, for example, within the first 6 months?
Yannick, your mic is off. You need to switch on your mic.
See that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please? Because I was responding to someone else. So can you repeat the question? Was the question designated to me?
Yes. So the question is it possible to apply?
Can you speak a little bit louder? I can't
okay.
hear you that good. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Is it better now? Like
a little bit better. Just let's try.
Okay. So is it possible to apply to the DAAD Prime program after the beginning of the postdoctoral contract, for example, within the first 6 months? Or...
But it depends on what I don't even know how to answer to it, but it depends, because if someone already began a PhD, a postdoc contract here, so in my opinion, he has already a contract here. But the Prime program is for people who have who are planning to have a long-term career in Germany. So it's maybe you can be enrolled, you can be in a contract, you can already have a contract, but apply for a period where the contract is no more there. So that's how I can respond to it. But maybe the person, if the person have really specific, if it is really, I need more details to be able to really answer to that question, to be honest. So the person should contact me directly. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you for this answer. And I think that it's possible to write to us after the webinar if you want more precision. So we also have a question, I think, that is a little bit more like broader to everyone. And is there any specific support for a researcher at risk or refugee researchers within the programs that are offered within like the Franco-German program, or is it not like a target group?
Should I answer? Is it to me too? Basically, the DAD is offering a lot of opportunities, funding opportunities to refugees in Germany. We have a lot of program, and the most program we have, the most funding scheme we have, also address people from as refugees. So it depends on which program they are interested in. So once more, so we need more detail to be able to answer, because we have program who are program only for German people who want to come abroad, and this program are also open to foreign students in Germany, but under certain conditions. And refugee status is a really specific status, and sometimes it might be possible that you can apply to for this program. So it depends on the program, you know. So like to repeat myself, we need more details. Which program is it about? And yeah.
Just to add something on that topic, in France, you have the national program called PAUSE, which is a national program for refugee scientists. And you have in Germany, for instance, the Philipp Schwarz Initiative, which has a specific program also for refugee scientists.
Yeah, and another thing I have to add is, if this is a person living in France who want to go to Germany, basically our program are open to all nationalities. our program we are offering from France to Germany are open to all nationalities. So it doesn't matter where you are come from. We have certain conditions. You have to be in France at least for 1 year and be enrolled in doctoral studies or master studies to be able to apply. The nationality doesn't play a role at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we have last questions that is for Berenice. And is the program also open for the people who got their PhD 2 years ago but didn't obtain any job since? So is it still possible to apply 2 years after the obtention of the PhD?
You mean, I suppose it's related to this Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. I think there is no restriction in this sense. You need to check because I don't know in detail the call, but I think there is no restriction. I know for sure that there is also, because the program is divided into different panels. You have, as I said, one classical for academic organizations, one for non-academic organizations, and you have also specific panels for people with a career break during their career for different reasons. So most of the time that's for parental leave, for instance. So just check the call and see what are the modalities to apply. But I'm pretty sure that there is no restrictions in terms of how long you should have obtained your PhD. Something I should ask anyway, because that will be the last call, if I'm correct, during this Age 2020 program from the European Commission. So the next one will be Eurozone Europe, and they might consider introducing a scientific age, which means, for instance, to have a PhD no longer than 6 or 8 years before applying, for instance. So at the moment, there is no scientific age indicated in the call, but maybe for the next call, there will be one.
And I think it was our last question. Yeah.
I think I saw one question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I think I saw a question concerning the magna cum laude issue. I don't know if the person is still there, but as you know, the DAD selection board is composed of university scientists, and for the MHA, it was about the MSH program. The MSH program is for German. Until 2017, the selection committee, the selection board selection was taking place here, and since last year the selection takes place in Germany. So there will be no problem for the selection board to to evaluate your result as Germany all still award magna cum laude or cum laude or whatever. So there is no problem with that.
Thank you very much, Yannick. So we are going to close the session now. As we said in introduction, but also during the session, do not hesitate to contact with the speakers if you want to get more information. We are going to send you anyway the slides. If the speakers agree with that, we are going to send them to you with their email address so you can connect with them directly after the session. So do not hesitate and have a look at the website of the partners because you will find also many different information for preparing your mobility. So we are now about to conclude with the session. I would like to thank you very much, our great partners. So Marine, Lisa, and Jeanne for your support. It was really nice to have you on board. Thank you very much for the speakers, Yannick, Eva Maria, and Dario for participating in this event. And for attendees, for instance, sorry, Valerie, I forgot you. Sorry, I didn't see your face, so that's why I forgot you. Thank you very much for your introduction as part of your of the partners. And for attendees, just for you to know, there is a second session in 25 minutes. We are going to discuss in this session the career development of PhDs in academia and outside. So just stay with us on YouTube if you haven't registered, or on the second link we sent to you if you registered for this session. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon and see you maybe later. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having us. Thank you for organizing this really good event. Thank you.
Very much for having me. Great event. Thank you.
Great
Bye.
event. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.